Hey everyone, this is Sapar Designs for Noble Desktop, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a dynamic animated background in Adobe After Effects. So I'll show you what the finished effects looks like over here. So we're going to be starting with animating like this text layer here, and after that it's just a lightning effect animation, a light burst, and then we're going to be adding this like cool reflection at the bottom using the previous layers all together. And like this is a really good way to have your animations appear like super bold, impactful, and it's based on just like some careful keyframing and the parenting technique. The reflection at the end, like over here, is it's a great detail to add to any animation, and it's just super easy to accomplish. And like this, this effect is all about like play and experimentation. So like change up the font. You can have a different reflection, you can parent different kinds of effects to it, but you'll see more as we get on with the project, so let's get started. And, oh, by the way, and you can find the project in the video description below. So let's go. So the first thing we're going to be doing, with the playhead at the origin, we're going to hit S for scale to open up like the size and stuff. And by the way, this font is called Horizon. It's free for download. And it's set to bold, and like the paragraph settings over here, they're pretty standard, nothing unusual over here. But I just wanted like a nice thick font to stand out within this effect because there's quite a bit going on. So the first thing we're going to be doing, we're going to be animating the scale. So with scale open, hit the stopwatch over here to start keyframing that stuff. And we're going to be... let's set the scale to, I'm going to put it around like 285. I want it nice and big, like you see how huge it is. And I'm also going to open up with Shift P on my keyboard to open up position. I'm going to hit the stopwatch on position. I'm going to pull it up out of the frame. The reason being for this is because I want it to look like it's kind of slamming down into the frame and getting smaller with impact. I'm going to move about 17 frames in-ish. About that, now 19 frames in, you could see. And I'm going to be changing, I'm going to shrink the text to be in the middle. So before it was about 90, so I'll put it back at 90. I think that's a good idea. And let's get that position to be down, 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 about in the middle, over here. Alright. I've got mine at 430 here. And I'm also going to be marqueing both of these. I'm going to, select all my keyframes. I'm going to right-click, go to Keyframe Assistant, Easy Ease, and that's just going to smooth out the motion of this text animation. So you can see it looks like it's coming from outside of the frame and slamming down into the middle. Now I'm going to be heading over to Effects and Presets. I'm going to type in Glow, and I'm going to grab Glow, drag it onto my text. Great. Now we're going to start keyframing the Glow effect. So, let's see, I'm going to put this around 1 second and 19 frames in-ish, about. Good enough. There we go. And I'm going to increase the glow to 50. Boop, boop, boop. I want to get that radius to about 50, basically. And I'm also going to keyframe glow intensity. So radius is basically, as you could probably guess, like how spread out is the glow. And then intensity is like how bright is the glow. And I want this, let's push it up, push it up, push it up. I like the way it looks. Let's put it at 3. I think that would be a good idea. So it's not too bright, but it's a nice, good looking effect. Actually, I'm indecisive. I'm going to dial it back to 2.5. I like that. Perfect. Alright, next thing we're going to be doing is click on the text layer. We're going to hit Control D on a PC, Command D on a Mac. Let's try that again. There we go. And we have a new layer. Now we're going to hit Enter on a PC, Return on a Mac, and we're going to rename this layer to Lightning. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be typing in Lightning and Effects and Presets over here. Drag and drop that onto our Lightning layer. And the reason why we duplicated this layer as opposed to like using an adjustment layer or anything else is because I want this new layer to have like an alpha channel and also be able to match the movement of the layer beneath that. And we're also going to make sure that later on I'm going to parent this to really make sure that it follows along with the motion. But for now, that's what we're doing. And what I want this lightning to do is, so with this effect, we can grab these like little, plus signs, and we could drag them around. And I want them to go over the word radical. Next thing we're going to be doing, we're going to take the lightning type. We're going to put it into two-way strike so it doesn't get hit off the edge of the composition. Actually, pull this one out a little bit more. We're going to be getting into glow settings over here. And we're going to change this blue color to be a yellow color. Just like that. That's all we need. And now we are going to be keyframing it. So with my playhead at 1 second 19 over here, I'm going to hit Alt left bracket on my PC. On a Mac, that should be Option left bracket, and that's going to cut this layer to just start around here. I don't want it appearing beforehand. And then let's head over to effect controls. So we're going to set conductivity state, core radius, and core glow to 0 and keyframe all three. So, that's at 0. I'm going to put you down to 0, please. Thank you. And I want my core glow. And then we're going to change my glow radius. I said core radius before. I apologize, I meant glow radius. I'm going to put that down to 1 because it's as low as it can go. And I'm going to hit the keyframe on that, stopwatch on that to start keyframing that. And then I'm going to move my playhead to about like 1 second, a little later in. So I'm putting it at like 1 second and 25 frames in. And I'm going to be changing these settings. I'm going to be bumping them up a bit more. So my core radius and my glow. So core radius, I want to, I'll put it at like 9.5. And my glow, I'm going to bump that up to, let's say 70, I think. I want it to be quite intense at this point. And then, I think I'm gonna, I'll move it down a little bit more. And then I want these two values to be, I want it to kind of settle down a bit. So my core radius is going to be 3 over here. And I want it to be less than 70. So I'm going to nudge it down to 55 for me personally. But basically the idea here is that, we want this lightning effect to start up. And it's going to be kind of quiet. And then those values are going to like burst up, get very intense. And then we want it to kind of settle down a little bit more, and just kind of like go on its way. Still be there, but not be too intense. And then last thing, I'm actually going to extend this quite a bit out. I'm going to be putting my playhead at the very end of my, animation over here. And I have mine at like 3 seconds and 18 frames in. And I'm going to be changing my conductivity state to 10. And the reason being for that is because I want, this lightning effect to kind of wiggle and move all over, and conductivity state really controls that. But I don't want it to stop moving while my animation's still playing. So I'm putting it all the way at the end. So it's got a reason, like, keep on moving, keep it moving till the very end of my animation. And the last thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be pick whipping this little swirly thing here to the lightning effect to the text effect. And the reason for that is whenever you parent something with the pick whip, it follows the initial movement of the the parent layer. So you can see that there's a bit of a wiggle effect on that text effect over here, and the lightning effect is just going along with it. It's fine. All right. Next effect. So we're going to be making an adjustment layer. So we go up to Layer, New, Adjustment Layer. And an adjustment layer is great. It's basically an empty layer, and you could just dump all sorts of effects in it. And it's going to, pass down that effect onto every single layer below it. And you'll see what we mean once we start working with ours. But they're super versatile. They're great. So I'm going to rename my adjustment layer here to... this is going to be a light burst effect, so let's just name it light burst. I like to capitalize my stuff. And we're going to type in light burst from the effects panel. And of course, light burst again, grab it onto this new layer. And the idea here is that I want this effect to really start slow and burst onto the scene and then settle down till it's, not really there anymore. So let's get our playhead to around 14 frames in. 15, 14, it's fine. Over here. And I want to keyframe my intensity and ray length to 0. So stopwatch on both these guys, down to 0, down to 0. You don't really see these guys. Oh, sorry about that. I'll just type it in over here. Okay, it's not really noticeable. Then let's head over to about 1 minute, 10 seconds frame in, I'm sorry about that. 1 second, 10 frames in. I have it at 9, it's fine. And now I want this effect to get super intense, like really burst onto the scene. So I want my intensity over here to be, I'm going to bump it up. I want it to be more than 1300. I'm going to make it 1350. And my ray length over here, let's see, 10 is a pretty big number for this value. Whoa, like that's crazy intense. But that's what I want right over here. And then like a few frames later, maybe I'll make it an even 20 frames after 1 second in. And let's tone these things down. Let's get them back down to 0. Alternatively, you could just copy and paste your initial keyframes over here. I hit U to open these up. You could copy and paste these frames over here. I just manually put it in, 0 and 0 is quicker for me that way. All right, last thing to do, we're going to make a reflection. So let's shift select all of these layers, light, burst, lightning, and the text effect. I'm going to right click. I'm going to pre-compose them. And I'm going to name these, let's see, text effects. Reason being for this is you'll see right after this, I want to duplicate all these guys all together, and that pre-comp is going to help me do that. So I'm going to hit Control D on my PC or Command D if you have a Mac. And I'm going to actually grab the bottom layer. I'm going to rename the original one Reflection. And I'm going to hit, let's see, S for scale. And I'm going to unlink these values, my X and Y. So normally, these guys, if you change one, the other value changes on the X and Y plane. But I just want to change one of these values. I want to flip this guy upside down. So I am going to reverse it. So I'm going to go over to my Y values over here, and I'm going to make it a -100. Great. And I'm going to grab this layer, pull it down, over here. And I want it to kind of cut off over here because, again, this is going to be the reflection. So we're not going to see the whole thing. And last thing, we're going to change this layer mode to soft light. Now, if you don't see layer modes over here, you're going to hit toggle switches and modes. If you see this layout, just press that button. And I want my reflection to be soft light. See that? So soft light is going to blend in this layer with the, the background that's underneath, the layer stack over here. All right, that's it. So glow effects and light bursts are awesome for transition effects and for plussing up pre-existing effects. And I super recommend changing up the font, changing up the background. You don't even have to work with the lightning effect. You can grab any effect, any preset. Maybe you can get one of those CC simulator effects. You can try to get a bubble effect. Any particular effect, and learn how to parent that to any other layer, like a text effect layer. Instead of the scale starting out really big, you can have it, really small and have it whooshing out from the far off in the background. And adjustment layers are super useful. You can put pretty much anything into them. Instead of having the lightning effect, parented to the text effect, you can put the lightning effect in the light burst, for instance, in the adjustment layer. So play around with this, try all sorts of effects, drag and drop, whichever, change the font. Ultimately, it's all about careful keyframing, knowing what to parent, and which kind of layers do what. And also, playing with your layer modes over here. So yeah, and knowing how to reuse text and background effects like the reflection technique is also super important as well. So they're very good for redirecting the eye, highlighting, and reusing your assets that you made. So that's all for this tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed learning how to make a dynamic background effect in Adobe After Effects. And this has been Sapar Zines from Mobile Desktop.